Hello, my vibrant friends. Thanks for being here today. So I have a special treat for today. I had a question from one of my clients about where to find antioxidants in our foods. I know if you're a longtime listener of the podcast, you've heard me talk about eating berries and how I love to eat berries every day. But there are other ways to get antioxidants. So we have a special guest today. We have Dr. Malathi Acharya from the Bay Area of California. And she is going to talk to us today about this topic. Now, if you're a longtime listener of the podcast, you'll know that when I talk about integrative doctors, I feel that everyone should make a visit with their integrative doctor every 2 to 3 years to kind of get an update on which supplements they should be taking, which things maybe they should quit, what are the good quality things to take. And sometimes you might need more time with an integrative doctor, but even pretty much everyone can benefit from this, especially if you're over 50, because what good supplements are for me might be different for you. And I would say that the last time I saw my integrative doctor, we changed a few things. So, it's really a helpful thing to do, and something that is probably available if you live in a large metro for sure. But, pull out the Google if you aren't in the Bay Area and can't see Dr. Malathi to find an integrative doctor for yourself. So Dr. Malathi is an integrative doctor, as I said, and former primary care doctor. And welcome, and please tell our audience a little bit about yourself.
Thank you, Dr. Awad. I'm excited to be here today with you talking about one of my favorite topics, food and what we can get from food and antioxidants. I'm an integrative medicine expert. I help people with chronic illnesses take back control of their lives and give them back the hope that they can lead a full and satisfying life. I also help healthy adults achieve their health goals and age with vitality. I'm the founder of Ayur Integrative Medicine, which is an integrative medicine practice in the Bay Area, California.
Nice. Thank you so much. So why don't we just start with the basics? What are antioxidants and why are they important?
So when in our bodies, there are these chemical molecules called free radicals that are formed. So as our body metabolizes everything, processes everything that it comes into contact with, it's whether we eat it, whether we consume it, whether we drink it, whether we inhale it through atmospheric pollution, exposure, skin exposure. As our body processes or metabolizes these substances, these free radicals are formed. They are just what we call as byproduct. They are just formed in our body. And these free radicals are very unstable, and they have the capacity to actually damage the protein and the DNA in our cells. So that's why it's important to keep these free radicals under control. And, sometimes there is a lot of accumulation of free radicals because of whatever is going on around us and in us. Or sometimes our cells are more, as we age, the cells are more sensitive. So that's where the antioxidants come in place. The antioxidants, they come and they make these free radicals stabilize so that the free radicals are no longer floating around and destroy our cells. So that's why we need the antioxidants.
Okay. I've heard some people describe this as like that free radicals are garbage and antioxidants help clean them up. Do you like that analogy or not so much? Or
I wouldn't say they're garbage. They are just, from whatever processes happen, our body is very good at getting rid of toxic, unwanted substances that we come into contact with. And sometimes it's a UV radiation exposure, some pollutant exposure. Our body always works hard to get rid of them, so we don't have any ill effects from these. And these are just a result of our body breaking it down. So waste product, I would say.
Okay, gotcha. Thanks. Okay, so what are some types of antioxidants and where can we get those?
The good news is this: the antioxidants are not just one class of foods or one class of wonderful nutrients. There are different classes of the antioxidants. And I want to talk a bit, I'm going to go over them a little bit in detail just to give you an idea that, hey, it's not one or two food sources. There's so many food sources that we can get our antioxidants from. And I'm sure most of you would at the end of listening to this, you would feel like, wow, I'm already taking so many foods with antioxidants. So I'm going to be a little more detailed in this. There are three major types of, I would say 5 major types of antioxidant foods. One is carotenoids. Okay. And I'm going to go, just to make it simple, I'm going to talk about one thing and say the foods that we get that from.
Great, thanks.
So carotenoids are the easiest way to remember this. Any food that's in the red, orange, or yellow color range. So that would include, mangoes, cantaloupe, peaches, orange, what else? Watermelon, squash, yam, all of those vegetables. They have rich in carotenoids, and carotenoids are wonderful antioxidants. Now, green leafy vegetables also have carotenoids, okay? So, and the more greener they are, they have more carotenoids. So all the green leafy vegetables are also good sources of antioxidants. Then there are seaweed and algae. Certain seaweeds and microalgae, they are also good sources of carotenoids. So if any of you, are fond of seaweed, that's also a good source of antioxidants. The second class of antioxidant nutrients are flavonoids. And when we talk about flavonoids, there comes berry and grapes. So that's the most common, right? Red berries, red grapes. So the commonest source is berries and grapes. Now, citrus fruits also contains the flavonoids. So citrus is, has both types of antioxidants. Onions, apple, they also have a different type of flavonoid and so are rich in antioxidants. Dark chocolate.
Excellent.
Dark chocolate is a great source of antioxidants. It has so much flavonoids. There's just one caution with dark chocolates. They can be contaminated with cadmium and lead. So, when you choose a brand of dark chocolate, consumer labs has information on which brand. They test a few brands and they tell you which one has, acceptable levels of cadmium, lead, and which one does not have. So that's one caution that keep in mind. But dark chocolate is rich in flavonoids, rich in antioxidants, and very protective against cardiovascular disease and stroke. Green tea, the active healthy substance is called catechins, a wonderful source of antioxidant. Soy has isoflavones, and that is a wonderful source of antioxidant too. So, there are plenty of sources for us to tap into based on each one's taste and what they like and what they need. The third group of compound is glucosinolates. They are also antioxidants, and the easiest way to remember is the big cruciferous family of vegetables, which is cabbage, cauliflower, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, and kale. These guys are what I call as the king of vegetables, and they are rich in antioxidants too. The other things, and you must be thinking, we're talking about antioxidants, vitamin C. Vitamin C is also one of the most important antioxidants that are present in our, that work in our body. And sources of vitamin D, we all know citrus fruits. Okay, greatest sources from citrus fruits. But in addition to citrus, oranges, grapefruit and kiwi also has a lot of vitamin C, and so does peppers, red and green peppers. Those also have a lot of vitamin C. Vitamin E, the alpha tocopherol, is also a powerful antioxidant. And where can we find vitamin E? Vitamin E is, in seeds, nuts and seeds. And, as you alluded to before, nuts and seeds, nuts with portion control is important, but nuts and seeds, especially with their coverings, are great sources of vitamin E. Whole grains. And it's important to remember in the grains, the vitamins and the micronutrients are more in the cover around the grain. So it's important for us to make sure we avoid refined grains and consume whole grains. What else? And egg yolk. Egg yolk is also an important source of vitamin D. So these are the 5 different classes of antioxidant compounds and the foods that we can get it from.
Great, great. I have a couple questions for you, kind of going back. When we talk about soy, does it have to be a certain thing like that? Like the edamame beans or soy, is that the same as tofu, or what's, as far as looking at antioxidants in soy, and soy milk, where do we find this?
Great question, Dr. Awan. So when we talk about soy, it's important for us to choose the soy products that are least processed or refined. Okay, from that perspective, edamame, tempeh, miso, and tofu.
Okay.
As well as soy milk. Okay, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But edamame, tempeh, tofu, and miso are the least processed forms of soy and are very healthy. Soy milk is also good, but when it's important to read the ingredients. Often, even organic soy milk, there's a lot of additives that they add to it. That kind of gives it the sweet, flavor. So that's the less additives that soy milk has, better. But soy milk is also a good source of soy and the goodness that we get from soy.
Okay, great.
Soy powder is the most processed, and that's something that I would avoid.
Okay. Have you heard of soy curls? I know I'm going to ask this on the side. One of my kids said they ordered soy curls. They were dried and then they rehydrate them and cook with them. This is something I found recently, so I apologize for asking this kind of off the cuff, but have you heard of those?
No problem at all about asking. I have not heard of soy curls, but to me, when you described how they, how it's, you have to put it in, I tend to kind of wonder if it's processed a lot, and that I would, in my mind, always brings up a red flag.
Okay. Yeah, when you said it, it kind of made me think that too, because I thought, well, all the things they have to do to make it so that they can send it.
Exactly. And that's a great way of thinking about things, right? How, if you are asking the question, hey, is it processed? How do I figure out can you get it home and eat it easily out of the packet, or do we have to do something with it to eat? So that's a simple answer.
Great. Thank you. Then I want to go back to the dark chocolate question too. Absolutely. Tell me again, and I'll put this in the show notes. Where do we look up our dark chocolate brands?
Consumerlabs.com
okay.
is a resource that you can look for. They test different dark chocolate brands. So consumerlabs.com.
Okay, that'll be a great help to people too, because people love to talk about their dark chocolate.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you want the good, healthy kind. So that's great. Any other cautions we have to think about with these antioxidants?
Thank you for asking that, because getting antioxidants from food is the best way. Because when we get our nutrients from especially plant-based foods, they come with, if you eat broccoli, or you eat a piece of broccoli, or you eat green leaf, it's just not one constituent we get. We get a lot of nutritional constituents, a lot of nutrients from each fruit or vegetable, and they kind of balance themselves out. So nothing is excess, nothing, not one thing is dominant over the other. So it's always best to get our antioxidants from food sources. That way we are not overdoing one particular compound to another. Antioxidants are also useful as supplements, and some of them are useful as supplements, some are not. So that is something that is best done after consulting an integrative physician to go, which is good, and for, personalize it. What are we taking it for? What do we need? So getting them from food is the best way to go, because it always comes balanced that way. The other thing I want to put it out there is in patients who are undergoing cancer treatment,
Mhm.
There's always this controversy and confusion about, can I take this? Can I talk? What about antioxidants? We know that some of the cancer treatments work by generating these free radicals to get rid of the cancer cells. So during treatment, it's okay. It's completely okay to consume foods with antioxidants. That's perfectly fine. But
Okay.
it's very, very important to avoid any antioxidant supplements during that active treatment.
Okay.
And once again, it's always good, in addition to the oncologist, to have an integrative doctor, to support and guide you during that process.
Nice. I've been noticing, of course, I live in a big metro, but I've been noticing that some of our cancer centers have integrative doctors now. So people can find someone easily if they're undergoing treatment. And how about after treatment? Treatment is done and they tell you, go eat a healthy diet, and what should people think about then for their antioxidants?
All that we talked about, anything from foods, plant sources are totally fine.
Okay. And is it still a good idea if they haven't had a visit with an integrative doctor to do that for supplements and those furthering
Yes.
the
Integrative
survival?
doctors, integrative medicine has a big role in cancer survivors. It's always that what should I do? What should I avoid? What all should I eat? What other, the question that in the mind of a cancer survivor is, how can I remain healthy? I want to avoid another cancer. What all should I do? So, there's a lot of role for an integrative doctor for cancer survivors. And that's one of my special areas of expertise, is helping cancer survivors.
Nice, nice. Well, thank you so much. I mean, I think to wrap up, we've talked about, why they're important to stabilize these free radicals. But we have to be careful if we're undergoing cancer treatment, because we may need free radicals to be around, and what types and what foods to look at adding. And I love that there's so many things. That's lovely. And the green tea and so many different kinds of foods. Like you said, I had some antioxidants I didn't know where I was eating. So
That's a great thing about this, right? There's so many foods that have it, that if you're someone who embraces vegetables and fruits, you're getting it.
yeah, that's great. That's great. Thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate your expertise and everything that you shared with our listeners today.
It was a pleasure being with you here today, Dr. Awad.
Great. Well, so Dr. Malathi, if you can let our audience know, how can we find you in person and online?
Absolutely. You can find me at my website. It's www.ayur.today. I'm going to spell that. It's AYUR.today. TODAY.
Great, great. And I will make sure that all of your website and any other social links that you would like to have will be in the show notes so people can find you easily.
Thank you.
Thank you again. I really appreciate this. Okay, let me just, and if you are looking for a guide, you're a woman over age 50 who would like help on your final weight loss journey, please come find me at heatherawadmd.com. And I would love to talk to you. There's a place where you can book a call and apply to work with me. So thanks everyone for your time today.